Literally out of nowhere, Halo Infinite launched this week. Well, it's actually the soft launch of the multiplayer. Okay, technically it's the beta with the launch Look, whatever we want to call it, Halo Infinite multiplayer is here. And it's available on Steam as well, which I did not realize was happening. I thought since it's an Xbox exclusive, it would only be available on the Windows Store. I'm glad that's not the case though, as I haven't had the greatest experiences with the Windows Store. But yes, Halo Infinite multiplayer, it's on Steam. You can play it right now, and it's completely free. And it's off to a really good start. After only a single day, it got over 11,000 mostly positive reviews. On SteamDB, it shows the concurrent player count reaching up to 272,000, which is not too shabby. And I jumped in this afternoon to try it out for myself, and I came away really impressed. Pretty much immediately, I was having a blast with this thing. Is this like a rocket launcher? Let me try it. What is that, a giant spike? I'm so confused.
Kill. No scope.
Yes. Oh shit. That's good. The game just feels super smooth and responsive. I think it looks good. It plays really well. Just the whole experience overall has been very, very positive. Now, I know at least this is partially nostalgia fueled. When you first boot up the game for the first time, you get hit with that classic Halo orchestral theme. And I just let this play for like a good minute straight. I was digging it so much. But nostalgic Halo music alone won't make a game stick. You need a game that's fun and good to play. And fortunately, it does look like 343 may in fact have a winner on its hands. After going through the tutorial, trying each of the game's 3 modes for several hours, I came away from today's play session really pleased with what I saw. Sure, I got my ass handed to me when I played the ranked arena.
Halfway to victory.
Yeah, I get it, dude. But everything else was a total blast. So I want to jump into the experience of playing Halo Infinite and talk with you a bit about my initial thoughts after a full afternoon. Before we do though, let's get a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Dysterra, an open world survival game with a futuristic setting. Earth is falling apart, there's this raging terrifier burning down everything, hostile creatures emerging from the world, and resources are low. So you have to scavenge for materials, craft weapons and armor, and fight back to survive. Some of the game's features include the ability to capture these landmarks to slow the spread of the Terrifier. You'll have to monitor vitals to prevent freezing, heat stroke, or radiation poisoning. There is base building where you construct a home with storage and defenses. And the game's also a first-person shooter with plenty of threats for you to eliminate. You can play solo, co-op working with others, or engage in a little PvP if you're feeling competitive. So Dysterra is having their second closed beta test from November 15th to the 22nd, and they've added various systems for new players since the last CBT. In general, the game is now more casual survival and more accessible to a wider range of players. If you're interested in giving Dysterra a look, check out that link in the description below and add the game to your Steam wishlist. Okay, so let's just take it from the very top. Like I said, when I first launched the game, I was immediately hit with that classic Halo theme, and I just sat there, like literally. Normally, I would be spamming enter to start playing the game as soon as possible, but this was so nostalgic. They clearly know what they're doing here. After loading in and signing into my Xbox account, because of course I had to sign into an Xbox account, the first thing I did was hop into the Academy. Now this is where the tutorial, weapon drills, and training modes are located. So I go through the tutorial. It was pretty straightforward stuff. Funny though, it was more story focused than I expected it would be. Basically, they just have this narrative and they talk about how important and inspiring the Spartans are and how you have to try to live up to their legacy. And then you go through some of the fundamentals of movement and the shooting mechanics. You also, in this section, get to select your AI companion. They start you off with this one called Butler, but there are additional AI personalities you can select from in the tutorial after that, so it's pretty cool. I didn't realize this was a thing. I haven't really played Halo since 3, so forgive me if I'm missing some of the steps in between, but I did think this was pretty cool. So after I finished the tutorial, I then decided to go into training mode just to get a better feel for things before I play a real game against other players. So this was just first AI, and the nostalgia strikes yet again as soon as I hear the announcer's voice for the first time. Dude, is that the original announcer? You gotta be kidding me. The nostalgia is through the roof. And yeah, it turns out that this is in fact the person who voiced the original narration in the Halo games. So well played, 343. Congratulations. This was also my first taste of some of the weapons that Infinite has. How's this thing? That's so funny, dude. The sound that this thing makes. This Zarya-like tracking laser gun, I just loved it. It was so much fun. So I play a little bit more of the training mode. I just really warm up. I feel like I'm ready to go. And then I queue up for quick play to try my hand at a real game against other players. I was a little lost at first, but it went surprisingly well. Okay, here we go. Capture points, got it.
Enemy flags in allied hands.
We got it. Oh god, that's a pit. Okay, I don't know where I'm going. I mean, yeah, I got 2 kills and I touched the flag in my very first life in my very first real game of Halo Infinite. I feel pretty good about that. Not that I'm under the impression that I'm any good. I learned that pretty quickly when I jumped into ranked later on. So I'm playing through my first match. I'm fighting real players. It's going well. I find another one of the game's funky weapons, and I immediately fell in love with it. Is this like a rocket launcher? Let me try it. What is it, a giant spike? I'm so confused.
Kill. No scope.
Yes. I love it, dude. This spear gun, it was so cool. It just felt so good to shoot. So many of the weapons in this game just feel amazing. It's satisfying to actually shoot. It's satisfying when you connect with the enemy and you land that kill and you get those sound effects. There's just so much that feels good about playing Halo Infinite. And there's a lot more coming too. Like, I get my hands and try a bunch of the new stuff. A teammate and I quickly learned about the game's out of bounds sections. That was something I forgot was in Halo. Oh my god. Where am I? I'm dead. Okay. Don't know what happened. It's all right. I didn't know what I was doing here, clearly, but it seemed like no one else in the match knew either, so it was fine. I explored around a bit. I tried some of the different weapons and the equipment. I got some kills, and overall, I just enjoyed it. All right, what's this thing? A grav launch? Suck it. I don't know what this is. Oh, scanner? It's person scanner, probably. Oh, we have the flag. We have the flag. We have the flag. Okay, here we go. I'm coming. Now, this first match did end up in a draw since neither teams could figure out how exactly to get and bring the flag back to our base. It looks like the answer, by the way, was vehicles. Apparently, these are important and using them in the CTF mode. We just couldn't get it together in time before the match ended. But anyways, I had fun, and I just jumped straight into a second match after this first one. Now, my second match ended up being on the same map, but it was a different mode. This time around, it was Slayer, where 2 teams will face off in a death match, and the first team to 50 wins. Quick play, in fact, in every mode in Halo Infinite looks to consist of a pool of different maps and modes. As of now, at least, it looks like you can't just queue into Slayer or capture the flag or oddball specifically, but rather you get placed in a hopper of every potential option on all available maps. We'll see if this changes in the future. I know that there are custom games, so if you are really wanting to practice a specific mode on a specific map, you have that option, although I believe that's not going to play into your progression towards the season pass. That's a whole nother can of worms, though. I'll talk about that. So yeah, my second match was a round of Slayer. I started off scoring a couple of kills that I felt good about. Hi, Sue. I also got a chance to play around with the tracking laser again. That was good.
Power items incoming.
This thing just reminded me of my time playing as Zarya in Overwatch. I was similarly bad at tracking with her too, but those weapons are still fun to use when you secure a kill with it. And then I got my hands on this like pistol that also feels like a shotgun. I'm not sure exactly what this thing is, but like a lot of these weapons in this game, it felt good when I got a kill with it. I think I really like this Mangler thing. I don't know how it does across the map though. Probably not good.
S7 sniper inbound.
Got you. This gun is fun, bro. The Needler is back. That is as good as I remember.
Not much ammo left, Spartan.
I know. And so is the battle rifle.
Gained the lead.
Good. I did try my hand at a sniper in this second game. I have never been good with snipers. That doesn't look like it's changing. Give it a shot. Got the assist, because I can't shoot.
I see headshots in your future.
I don't. What are you saying?
Ammunition low.
Oh my, you he fucking baited me hard. He's in a wall that I can't shoot him through. Of course. Fuck it. I'm just gonna go with this. That's so funny. And then towards the end of the match, I picked up one of the power weapons in this game. It's called the Cinder Shot. It appears to be like a plasma grenade launcher, sort of, and it seemed pretty good. So you'll notice a trend here. I'm using these new weapons. I'm saying they feel and play good, and because they do, they've nailed so much of the feel of this game, and it's really one of the reasons that I have been enjoying Halo Infinite so much so far. So we end up winning this match. My second game, I first draw, then I win. This was no thanks to me, really. I didn't do that great, but again, I was having a good time. Everything was really, really enjoyable. And 2 games in, and I'm already sold on Halo Infinite. Quite literally, in fact. I was having such a good time. I'm like, this is totally worth 10 of my dollars. So I purchased the Battle Pass. I figured, why not? I'm clearly going to be playing this a bunch. It's pretty obvious at this point. The game's free to play. I can spend $10 and not feel guilty. It's clearly worth the money for me. This is normally what I do as well in any free-to-play games. If I'm having a really good time, I will comfortably spend $10 to $20. Whether or not I spend more, that is to be determined, but I'm very happy to spend the nominal price to do this season pass thing. Again, I was only 2 games in. I played some matches against AI, 2 games against real players, but I was having so much fun, and really that didn't stop for the rest of the afternoon. I kept on playing for the next 5 or so hours, running a bunch of games in quick play. I got to see a lot of the different maps and modes, from Capture the Flag to Slayer and Oddball. Funnily enough, though, I don't think I got any of the zone capture mode in quick play. Just luck of the draw, I guess, that just didn't happen to pop up. I know it's a thing, though. But after playing for a while, I teamed up with a friend of mine, and we decided to give Ranked a shot. It went very poorly. We just got obliterated. The enemy teams were clearly way better than us. They were more coordinated, they were playing together, and they just seemed better mechanically, better shots, better with their nades and movements. It was an embarrassment, frankly. We actually lost our first 4 games straight. These were all part of the placement match system, though, so presumably when we finish the 10 placement matches, it will put us in a ranking. We'll be playing against people of similar skill. I know as well that I'm way worse than my friend. He is a really good FPS player, so I was probably dragging him down. I held my own at times, but we were just getting completely outplayed. But it was fine. It was fine. We did grow tired of getting knocked around in the arena, though, and decided to give big team battles a shot. The very first thing that I did in my very first match of this big team mode was I stepped into the back of a Warthog. I grabbed hold of this minigun while my driver was swerving around wildly at max speed towards the enemy team as I mowed them down. I was immediately hooked. I mean, this mode, I think, just embodies what I remember loving about Halo multiplayer as a kid. It's crazy, it's hectic, and it's a real lot of fun. It feels like there's so much room for crazy stuff to happen here. I'm not sure if it's to the level of the wild things that can take place in a game like Battlefield, although this year's installment of Battlefield doesn't seem to be doing so hot. That's another story. Regardless of how potentially crazy this sandbox can get and all the different moments that can happen, it feels close enough to me with all of the vehicles, the gadgets that this game has, especially the graphics grappling hook and all of the potential that opens up. And then the crazy weapons that I have just not stopped gushing over this whole video because it all feels so good. Something over the top is almost always happening in every moment that I'm playing these big team battle games, and I really, really love it. Besides the actual moment-to-moment gameplay, the combat itself, there are, of course, objectives. The available modes in big team battle include capture the flag, a pretty straightforward capture the enemy flag and return it to your base. There's total control, where you have these 3 capture zones on the map, and you have to try to hold all 3 of them at the same time for your team. Doing so will score you a point, and then those 3 zones will appear in a new area. They move, and the first team to do that 3 times and score 3 points will win the game. There's stockpile, and this has you and the rest of your team trying to move these power seeds that will spawn in somewhere on the map and push them towards your base, and then store 5 of them to score your team a point. First to 3 wins here. And then finally, there is a big team battle Slayer mode. It's just like Slayer in quick play or ranked, except instead of first to 50, it's first to 100 points. A big team battle is easily my favorite thing so far in Halo Infinite. It's 12 versus 12. It's hectic. It's fun. It's over the top. It's more sandboxy and just more nutty in general. There's more potential for crazy things to happen. There's also a lot less pressure than in the smaller scale modes of quick play in Arena. I do like those modes simply for shooting and general gameplay practice, but in general, I think big team battle is probably where I'll be spending most of my time in Halo Infinite. So far, pretty much everything that I've seen has been really, really good. There is some bad when it comes to Halo Infinite, it seems, though. For one, there's the Battle Pass. This has been getting a lot of conversation in these first few days. The biggest gripe and the biggest sticking points for people seem to be that you only progress by completing the objectives. So just playing the game, win or loss, spending time, getting kills, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. You have these tasks like get a bunch of kills with a sidearm or get a kill in Banshee or whatever the heck vehicle names they have. Whatever. There'll be a bunch of tasks, objective list for you to do. To complete those gives you XP, and that XP progresses your battle pass. But what this ends up doing is it seems to be having people focus just on completing objectives rather than actually winning the match, because winning the match doesn't do anything. In fact, staying in the match doesn't do anything, and we've seen reports that people will be completing objectives and then just leaving the game. I do think there's a way for people to join mid-game. I'm not 100% sure, probably not in ranked, but regardless, it's just disrupting a lot of things. Now, they've been addressing this. They are apparently planning to make changes to the way the Battle Pass progression works for these reasons. They seem like valid concerns. I'll be honest with you, though. In my first day of playing, I put like 8 hours in the first afternoon. I barely noticed the Battle Pass. I mean, I know I bought it, but I spent the $10 because I was enjoying the game, and I just forgot about it. I didn't even realize that I wasn't progressing. So that's, I guess, good and bad. Like, I probably could be a lot further in the Battle Pass if I was paying attention to those objectives, but I was simply enjoying playing the game, and I didn't really care what was happening with the Battle Pass. I guess it's also worth noting that the Battle Passes in this game, as far as I'm aware, they never go away. So it's not like a seasonal thing where you really got to rush and cram in every single day, every single week to get as much progression as possible, because at a certain date, you can't progress any further, and they move on to the new Battle Pass. From what I understand, in Halo Infinite, the Battle Passes just stay, and you can always progress them at any point in the future. So at least that's a thing. I'm not saying there shouldn't be changes to the Battle Pass. It clearly seems a flawed design right now. I'm just saying, in my first afternoon playing, I barely noticed it because I was just enjoying the game. So that's something. And then what ties into this as well is the customization. It does seem pretty darn limited in terms of the different options you have for the way your Spartan looks. There are things, but it seems like a lot of it is tied directly into the Battle Pass, which then basically just loops back into everything we just talked about. All of the issues with the Battle Pass also play into the customization. Because it's a free-to-play multiplayer game, of course, the customization is what they're going to be monetizing. Of course, it will be limited for completely free-to-play players. I get that. I just feel like there's maybe a better balance that they can strike, or maybe just have more basic customization available to free players, and then some of your crazier flaming skull spikes all over your Spartan suit, maybe some of that is tied into the monetization. Just seems like there's a better way they can do this because people are pretty unhappy with the customization. And then the last bad thing about Halo Infinite is, of course, that there's no Battle Royale. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You know what? I would love it. I would probably love Battle Royale in Halo, but as it is, Halo Infinite seems pretty damn good, and I'm really enjoying it. So that pretty much does it. That is my first day of experience with this game. I'm really, really enjoying it so far, and I wanted to share some of my thoughts as well as a bit of that gameplay, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you, as always, for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I will keep playing this game, and there will be further updates and discussion about this most certainly. But so far, 2 thumbs up from me. You know what? It's free to play. No harm. Just give it a shot. If you've ever been a fan of a Halo, if you like FPS games, it's definitely worth giving a shot, I think. All right, that does it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy it. I'll see you next time.